Surah 35, Fatir, by the one who is denoted by the name Allah, who created my being with his names in accord with the meaning of the letter B, the Rahman, the Rahim. Hamd belongs to Allah, the Fatir, who creates everything programmed according to its purpose of the heavens and the earth, who discloses the angels, conscious forces, driving specific functions, as messengers with 2, 3, 4 functions. He adds to his creation whatever he wills. Indeed, Allah is Qadir, powerful over all things. And when we say wing, we shouldn't limit it to the concept of a wing of a creature in the animal worlds. Nor does this verse limit the concept to only this number. If God wants a light being to have more wings than that, or did want a light being to have more wings than that, that was the case. And we find narrated examples of beings with more wings than this. If Allah wills to bestow grace upon people, no one can withhold it, and if he withholds it, none can disclose it thereafter. Who is the Aziz, the Hakim? He's the mighty, the wise. O people, consider the blessing of Allah upon you. Is there, besides Allah, a creator who creates for you sustenance from heaven, the data in your brain, and the body, the brain body? There is no deity God, only who. How you deviate from the truth. If they deny you, know that they denied all the messengers before you too. The judgment regarding what transpires belongs to Allah. O people, indeed, the promise of Allah is true. Let not the life of the world, the bodily life, deceive you, and let not the great deceiver, your mind, make you arrogant towards Allah. Indeed, the devil, the conception formed in the brain via the impulses sent by the organs in the body, that your existence is confined to the body, is as an enemy to you, taking you away from Allah, your essential reality. So take him as your enemy. It, the belief that you are only the body, invites its followers to become companions of a blazing fire. There is severe suffering for those who deny the knowledge of the reality. As for those who believe and fulfill the requisites of their faith, there is forgiveness and a great reward for them. How can the one whose bad deeds are made to seem attractive, so he thinks he is good, be equal to those who are truly good? Indeed, Allah lets go astray whom he wills and guides whom he wills. So do not despair over those who are in loss. Indeed, Allah is Alim, knowing over what they do as their creator. And God sets forth a system that you can choose to be led astray or not. But typically these verses that maybe rendered something leads astray, whom he wills or something, include the verb form. So they're not taking in the guidance. The guidance is there, but they're not taking it in. It is Allah who disclosed the winds, Rahmani knowledge, and thus drives the clouds. The black clouds formed in one's mind as a result of emotions and conditionings. Then we drove them, the Rahmani knowledge, to a dead land, consciousness, and gave life to the earth, the body, while it was dead. This is the resurrection, the return to the existence. Whoever desires honor, let him know first that honor belongs entirely to Allah. One who thinks of himself as a separate being cannot have honor due to the dualities and creations, good and pure, reach him and are raised by fulfilling the requisites of faith. The word raise here refers to the fulfilling of the deeds that are the requisites of one's faith in his essential reality, as they save one from the ego and enable one to reach Allah. But those who scheme bad things, for them there is a severe suffering, and their schemes will amount to nothing. Allah created you from dust, then from a fertilized cell, then formed you as pairs, double helix DNA. No female producer can either become pregnant, produce, or give birth, form a new creation outside his knowledge. What is recorded in the genetic helix. The lifespan of each living being is indeed recorded in a book. The creational genetic codes. This is certainly easy for law. Not equal are the two C's. One is sweet and quenches thirst, pleasing and easy to drink. The other is salty and bitter. From each one you eat fresh meat and extract ornaments to wear, and you see ships sailing through them, so that you seek of his bounty and are grateful. He transforms the night into the day, and the day into the night. He's given functions to the sun and the moon. Each one runs its course for a specified time. Thus is Allah your Rabb. Sovereignty is for him, for the manifestation and observation of his names. Those to whom you turn besides him, assuming they exist, do not have sovereignty over the membrane of a date seed. If you call out to them, they will not hear your call, and if they do, they cannot respond to you. Furthermore, they will deny your deification of them during doomsday. None can inform you like the one who is Khabir, aware. O people, you are in absolute need of Allah, for you exist with his names, but Allah is the Qani, the Hamid, sufficient, praiseworthy. If he wills, he can do away with you and manifest a completely new creation of his names. This is not a problem for Allah, who is the Aziz, the possessor of irresistible force. No bearer of guilt can bear the burden of another, and if one whose burden is heavy calls out for his burden to be carried, nothing of it will be carried, even if it is a relative. You can only warn those who are in awe of their Rabb, their unknown, and who establish salat, ritual prayer. Whoever purifies and cleanses himself only purifies for the benefit of his own self. The return is to Allah. Not equal are the blind and the seeing. Nar are the darknesses, ignorance, and Nur, knowledge. Nar are the shade, consciousness, the forces of the names, and the heat, the bodies. And not equal are the living, through the knowledge of the reality, and the dead, those who think they will become inexistent with death. Indeed, Allah will enable whom he wills to hear, but you do not have the function to make hear those who are in their graves, cocoons, those who are living in the world projected by the brain. You are certainly only a warner. Indeed, we have disclosed to you the truth as a giver of good news and as a warner. There is no community to whom a warner has not come. If they deny you, then know that those before them also denied. Their Rasul's messengers came to them as clear proofs and wisdom and enlightening information. Then I seized those who denied the knowledge of the reality, and how was my reproach for denying me? Did you not see how Allah disclosed water, knowledge from the sky? With it we produce fruits of various colors, various thoughts, and in the mountains, beings with egos, tracts of white, red of various shades, and black, various lifestyles and life paths. And there are also those with various colors among the creatures, different bodies, races, and cattle, animalistic properties, among his servants. Only those who have knowledge of what is denoted by the name Allah, and who are aware of its might, are truly in awe of Allah, realize their nothingness in respect of his magnificence. Indeed, Allah is the Aziz, the Ghafur. Indeed, those who read Allah's book, establish salat, ritual prayer, and who give unrequitedly, both secretly and openly, in the way of Allah, from the sustenance with which we nourish them, can be sure they have made an investment that will never incur a loss. He gives to them what they deserve in full and increase it from his bounty. Indeed, he is the Ghafur, the Shakur. That which we have revealed to you from the knowledge of the reality and the Sunnatullah is the very truth that confirms what came before it. Indeed, Allah, as the presence with his names in his servants, is the Khabir, aware, and the Basir, seeing. Then we made the servants whom we chose to inherit the knowledge of the reality, and then we made the servants whom we chose inherit the knowledge of the reality and Sunnatullah, the tradition of God. Some of them wrong themselves, their lifestyles do not do justice to this knowledge, and some who are moderate are in tune with their essence, sometimes and fall into corporeality at other times, and some who, with the permission of Allah, bid'in Allah, the permissibility of the names manifesting from His essence, advance with the good they do, their lifestyles. This is surely a great bounty, supremacy. A hadith in relation to this verse, narrated by Abu Dawood, God be pleased with him, I heard, may God be pleased with him, I heard the Rasulullah, messenger of God, peace of God and prayers be upon him, prayers is in, we pray to God that Muhammad is benefited, recite this verse, this 32nd verse, after which he said, he who advances ahead with his good deeds will go to paradise without giving any account. The moderate one will be called to an easy account. But the one who wrongs himself, he will be made to sit at a station until sadness and sorrow afflicts him. Then he will be admitted to paradise. Then he recited the verse, Hamd belongs to Allah, the possessor of all forces, who has removed from us all sorrow. Indeed, our Rabb is the Ghafur, the Shakur. The 34th verse. Musnad a Hanbal. Is it Abu, or what's the A stand for? There's different options here. They will enter paradises of Eden, a life established upon the forces of the names. There they will be adorned with bracelets of gold and pearls. There their garments will be silk. And the 34th verse mentioned, those who enter the life of the paradise of Eden say, Hamd belongs to Allah, the possessor of all forces, who has removed from us all sorrow. Indeed, our Rabb is Ghafur, the Shakur. He who, from his bounty, has settled us in an everlasting abode, a body form by which we are enabled to experience the life of paradise. In it, neither fatigue nor weariness can touch us. As for those who deny the knowledge of the reality, there is a hellish burning for them. Death will not be decreed for them, so they cannot die, nor will their suffering be lightened. This is how we recompense everyone who is ungrateful of the knowledge of the reality. They will cry therein, our Rabb, take us out from our conditionings, so we may do what is necessary rather than what we were doing. They will be answered, did we not allow you life enough for those with the capacity to contemplate therein to contemplate? And a warner came to you, so taste what you have prepared for yourself. There are no helpers for the wrongdoers. Indeed, Allah knows the unknown of the heavens, the capacity of the brain founded on the reality of the names, and the earth, what is contained within the brain. Indeed, He is the absolute essence of what is within your breasts, your depths, is Alim, knowing of the reality. It is who has made you vicegerents upon the earth. The caliphate attribute, the successor, is established, not created. This fine distinction should be pondered upon with care. Whoever is ungrateful, whoever denies his vicegerency for the sake of individual values and bodily pleasures, denies the reality against himself, and the denial of those who deny the knowledge of the reality increases them only in hatred in the sight of their Rabb. Say, did you see your alleged partners, friends whom you worship besides Allah? Show me, what did they create on earth? What did they administer in your body? Or do they have a share in the heavens? Did they form a new understanding of knowing the self in your consciousness while you thought you were your body? Or did we give them the knowledge of the reality, the book, on which they are standing as evidence? On the contrary, the wrongdoers do not promise each other anything but delusion. Indeed, Allah is holding the heavens and the earth, lest they cease their functions. For if they were to cease their functions, none can hold them in place other than Him. Indeed, He is the Halim, Ghafur, the clement, the effacing, they swore in the name of Allah, saying, Balah, with all their strength, that if a warner came to them, they would be more guided than any of the previous people. But when a warner came to them, this increased nothing in them except for hatred. They turned away in arrogance, egotistically, scheming evil, but the scheme of evil encompasses only those who scheme it. Are they awaiting one who follows a way other than the sunnah, the system and order of Allah, that the previous people followed? You will never encounter an alternative for sunnatullah, the tradition belonging to God. You will never find an alteration in the sunnatullah. Did they not travel the earth and see with insight the end met by those before them? They, the previous people, are mightier than they. Nothing in the heavens or the earth can render Allah ineffective. Indeed, Allah is the Alim, the Qadir, knowing, powerful. Had Allah willed to subject people to the consequences of their actions immediately, there would be no creature, human body left alive on earth, but He provides respite until the end of the specified term for their bodily life. When their death comes, their affairs in the world will end. Indeed, Allah, with His names, is Basir, within the very existence of His servants. Basir, observing.